Loving it. Yeah. Opposite attract another. One different, two best friends.
Picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me, what's going on, so you can see what's going on. Y'all, what's going on? Hello, world. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's the Beauty Shop Talk Show. We're back for episode number 4, people. 4. Okay? Y'all know what we do on this show. We are transforming you from the inner to the outer through one conversation at a time. The Beauty Shop Talk Show. I said that wrong, but you get my drift. You know what I'm saying? I said, but y'all know what we doing. You know, we are beauty, where beauty is in the eye of the beholder, where we are transforming you one conversation at a time through inner beauty, wanting it to match your outer beauty. Okay? Snatching those mental edges. I think I got it right this time.
I think so.
Okay. Welcome, y'all.
Okay.
Right. We got time, bruh. Time.
So what have you been up to since we last sat on the couch?
Well, you know, I am really proud of us. I keep saying that because every show we're getting great feedback. Every show we're getting more subscribers and more viewers, and we just appreciate you guys taking this journey with us, stepping out,
Yes.
you know, on faith, on our dream, and really getting into these episodes of us really getting into the messed up things that happen in our lives, our testimonies. But other than that, you know, I watched the Blood Moon.
Oh my goodness.
Bloody.
I was sitting never mind. I have no affiliation.
Right.
But,
Neither one of us do.
we took the kids to go to Midtown Park,
Oh.
and they had the little telescopes. I forget the institution, but it was amazing. We saw Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn's ring. It looked fake AF. Jupiter was so beautiful and all its mini moons, and then we saw Mars, of course. But I think they recently, according to the news, they recently had a dust storm, so it just looked like a little.
They're talking about the African dust?
No.
Oh, I'm off.
African Mars? No.
Never mind. Don't worry about that. I'm having a blind moment today.
But it was amazing. Madison over here talking about yes, it's a harvest moon. Girl, no. We in the summertime.
Listen.
But I like how she thinks. She said she's gonna be an astronomer, so we'll see.
Dream big, Madison. You know
all
I love
things.
you. You know that's my girl.
But that's my and getting ready for back to school, because by the time this airs, kiddos will be on the dough.
We'll be seeing all of y'all 100 million pictures of y'all kids in uniforms on Facebook.
On Monday. Make sure y'all do your work.
Yes.
But
I look forward every year to seeing proud parents and people I follow on social media posting their children snackatubes and everything with the new outfits and new uniforms for school. Y'all are so proud of y'all children, and I live vicariously through all of you guys. I'm everybody's auntie and godmother and, you know, all that stuff. So shout out to you guys, and this episode will air by the time school is out. So hey, kids, dream big.
Yes.
I wish you all another successful year of school.
A safe year
At school. Prayers and blessings, angels are distributed around you guys, because we know that we are living in strange times. So blessings to you, and mothers and fathers. I know that y'all are ready for your kids to be out your house.
Speaking of strange times, we wanted to speak on
so I've been kind of following the story since it kind of hit airwaves about Queen Nia Wilson. That's what I call her. May she rest in heaven, rest in peace, rest in strength. And in this episode today, we're going to be unfolding mental health. And it's just struck a chord with me because Black folks have 400 plus years of post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if people really understand the plight of the black skin, the crown that we wear. Heavy is the crown that we wear. That when we're just living our normal lives, hate is real. And this girl was on the train with her sister, having a good time. No, not the particulars of where she was going or where she was coming from, but somebody with hate in their heart decided to take her life, decided to put Judgment Day on her. And it makes me so upset because I get sick of my people being a hashtag. And then I get sick of white America spinning the narrative as though there's justification as to why we're being killed, from bringing up old pictures of her that may not look so, you know, so glorify her and her glory, trying to spin the narrative as though that's a reason why she's dead, as though that her activity of being a teenager, I don't know how many crazy pictures I took as a teenager that doesn't speak to the character of the person that I am, but it's justified for someone taking another one of our lives. And it goes to me to say, you know, in speaking about cultural appropriation and people loving our black skin and people loving our culture, loving our cornrows, but remaining silent when it's time to fight, remaining silent in the struggle. And I say post-traumatic stress disorder because we're constantly having to deal with death. We're constantly having to pray before we leave our doors. We're constantly getting shaken up every time we see a police drive by us. We're constantly in prayer that we make it home to our loved ones from work every day, by guns, by knives, by whatever. Heavy is the crown that we wear. I don't know if you know the song of Strange Fruit. It used to hang in the tree, but now it's just bodies spread across the ground in cold blood. So to my people, I say that we need to love on each other a whole lot more. We cannot just continue to hashtag and say her name or say his name or say their name. We need to get like our ancestors and start putting things in motion. Because I'm sure Harriet Tubman was saying names, but she was also praying and also making major moves in silence, off of social media, but actually organizing, doing. And the way in which we can really do that is really get into educating yourselves on how to promote change in your community. That means voting. That means holding your politicians accountable for the things that they say that they're going to do for you when it's seasons come when we're going to the polls. We have to start somewhere. People who say that our vote doesn't matter, you're ignorant, because your ancestors are the same ones who died and got sprayed and bit by dogs so that we can have the freedom and liberties to go to the polls, which our face are not seen. And only on the only time when it's time to vote for the president. Barack Obama's not a president anymore, y'all. He is the past president. So we still have to make ourselves visible so that people of color, not just black folks, but people of color can be seen in areas of local government, so that we can have a voice and have people who speak for us, so that these kind of occurrences won't happen. There will be justice. Her killer is still at large. Why? We see every day that white people are picking us off like cotton. And you ain't even picked cotton. This country was built off the backs of my ancestors. And who are you to make judgment upon when I leave this earth and when I don't? You're not God, but they sure do. They sure know how to play God. And I could go on a tangent about this all day, but I would say, you know, that struck me. Nia Wilson struck, as all of them have. But the fight continues. We cannot just continue to be hashtagged on social media, but we have to start putting things in motion, because as you can see, the judicial system is not on our side. The government was not made for us. We do not have freedom. We are in a fight for our freedom each and every day, and it's more prevalent because social media does not give us time to heal. We are in constant post-traumatic stress disorder because we are constantly being faced with murder. We are constantly being seen on live Facebook. We are constantly having to bury our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, and people's mothers and fathers are constantly having to deal with what happens when my baby is gone and I still have no justice. And the system in which I pay my taxes into still won't give me justice. Black lives, do they matter? Or we just continue to be strange fruit, not on the tree, but on the ground? Our blood stains the concrete, the same blood that still has our ancestors blood on it from when they wanted to fight for their freedom. Y'all think about that. Oh, that's heavy. I had to, almost made me tear up. So anyways, back to it. Let's get back to happier times for the moment.
Well, this is a great way to hop into our Beauty of the Week.
Segue.
The Black, the Bold, and the Beautiful. Every other week, we're going to pay homage to a sister or brother in the community that's doing great things and letting their beauty match the outer. That truly exhibits beauty inside out.
Inside out.
So, Jaquay, who do we have today?
All right. Well, you know from the first episode that me and Kanisha are proud graduates of the lavish institution of Texas Southern University. It is a historically black college university.
Yes.
And we are very proud to be a part of this force of education.
Yes. Go TSU Tigers.
Go TSU Tigers. But I want to shout this young king out. His name is Tahir Murray, aka Mr. Tradition. Okay, I found this brother when I was on Twitter. Twitter is like CNN to me. I get my news straight from Twitter, okay? And he should be going to his sophomore year at Howard University, okay? But he started his own clothing brand. If you have not checked out his clothing brand, please check it out and tell him the Beauty Shop Talk Show sent you. I'm going to read you some facts, as I always do, about what he has going on. He's a black-owned company, okay, that makes quality gear for college with a heavy focus on HBCU. So quality gear means like he makes tights, he makes basketball shorts, and the collection is growing bigger. I cannot wait till he makes something for Texas Southern University, because I will be copping some gear. Hopefully he'll have something before homecoming where, you know, I can go in the yard and, you know, kind of stunting his situations. It's quality stuff. He says that, a portion of his money he uses to invest in his community by working with different college alliances and groups for scholarships for students. So he's taking half of his earnings and giving it right back into his HBCU collegiate community to help fund scholarships for people like him to get education.
That's
brother.
Amazing.
That's amazing. He said that all I want to do is use the Tradition platform to shine a light on HBCUs and give back to the community that's done so much for me. Now, he caught a little heat. Let me tell y'all something, black people. Get it together. Because if y'all can pay for some Louis, if y'all can pay for Gucci, then why are y'all giving this brother so much flack for the expense of his gear? Now, his shorts are like, they run about $90 or like between $45 and $90 is what I saw on the website. But it's quality material. Do you want cheap and chancy? Okay? You want quality stuff. You want quality basketball shorts, bruh. You don't want to be out there on the court living your best life, trying to cross people up with them old knees from back in the day, and then your shorts coming loose. You know, you want quality gear.
Not the old knees.
You want quality gear. So show this brother some love. I saw he had the picture you would see like Southern University and Grambling and people like that. You know, I guess there is such a focus on those schools because they seem to be highlighted on Instagram. But let me tell you something. Don't forget about H-Town, brother. Okay? Because we waiting for you.
Okay.
It's plenty of people out here in Houston. And I saw you had Prairie View too, which is very disrespectful. Because you need to know the #1 HBCU in this Houston, Texas is Texas Southern University. Prairie View, you know, they somewhere over there somewhere. So shout out to you, Mr. Tradition. You can find him on his website. He has a lot of names, so let me say this. His website is www.traditioneversince.com. On IG, he is at Mr. Tradition. I'm having a hard time talking today. And then, and Tradition Ever Since on IG as well. And then on Twitter, he is Tradition_brand. So we just want to shout you out. I can't wait for you to have some TSU gear so I can support you, and TSU tights, because I do go to the gym and I would love to rep my university at the gym and let people know, like, hey, this young black brother is doing great things in the community, and support him. So shout out to you, Mr. Tradition. And I look forward to seeing what you produce and what you continue to bring in helping fund HBCU culture, collegiate, and education. We love you for real. Love and light. All right. Now, y'all know this is my favorite portion of the show because we like to keep it beautiful. Hashtag. Y'all should know it by now. Say it with me. Beauty Maintenance Alert, where Kanisha, this queen, is going to give you the bomb.com product to keep your outer beauty matching your inner beauty. Baby, let's get into it.
Okay, so this week I want to highlight an oldie but goodie.
Hello.
The QRedew Handheld Steamer. Invented by Heidi. She wanted to have a way that we could stretch out, our hair, because I'm not fortunate enough to wash and condition every day.
Okay.
No shade, no tea, but hey. And this will allow second, third day hair with voluminous curls, whatever, without having to oversaturate our hair strands.
Yes.
So how it works, you add the water in the reservoir. Plug it up. This will turn solid red, so maybe like less than a minute. And then steam comes out. You just go through each section, steam, apply, your oils and your moisturizer, whatever, and it should produce a beautiful coif.
I need that for my wash and go, honey.
Exactly.
Because this Houston heat be having me, I look at chia pet.
Chill.
Okay. Getting my true chaka Khan on.
About to bust on this song.
Little shade chaka Khan. I feel for you.
Oh my God. Sometimes I like to do a flexi ride or a perm ride set on dry hair because it gives me the volume that I need. Like second and third day hair does.
Right.
But I don't really have time to sit up under the dryer, deep condition again, as I stated before. And this bad boy will help you with that. You can also use the QRedew steamer for your facial washing, like when you do your mask, post exfoliation, steam no more than 5 minutes because you don't want to dry out your skin, and then apply your moisturizers, your serums afterwards. I've had mine for about 5 to 6 years now, and I've seen a lot of reviews where people said that it stopped working over time. It's not working, it's just clogged, because that's what happens when hard water, like your shower head, it kind of calcifies over time. So you take a teaspoon of white vinegar and dilute it in some water, so like 1 to 1. Pop it in a water reservoir, let it run, and then it should be back to its normal self.
All right.
These, they typically run like about $60, $70.
Great investment.
I purchased mine from Tendrils and Curls here in Houston. It's the second time I done shout out that show, so let them know that Keisha sent you.
Tendrils and Curls. We shouted you out twice. Okay.
But
show your girl some love.
Yes. I bought mine here in Houston. You can find the steamer on IG, Facebook, on their website, QRedew.com, QRedew on Instagram. And what I do like about their Instagram handle, there are so many beautiful naturalistas out there that's showing how they're using their steamer to style their hair, and maybe it'll give you some style ideas. I know I saw a few that I might try. Y'all might see up on the show next time when I get my life together.
The natural hair community coming through.
Let them know at Beauty Shop Talk 2 sent y'all.
2.
And that's the QRedew Handheld Steamer.
Okay. Well, it's time, because today's topic is so heavy, and we need a little pettiness. We need a little pettiness to balance out all of this that's happening in the world.
2 tablespoons worth of petty.
2 tablespoons. So, on the Beauty Shop Talk show, we like to keep it a little bit petty, slightly ratchet. So we're going to get into this conversation to get your life. Hashtag that. Thank you, take my friends, girl. So what are we getting into today? Because there's so many petty things happening.
I think we should just talk about all of them now. Again, I don't know when the show's gonna air.
Right.
But this week has been a doozy. Okay.
All right.
I didn't see. I get it, but I don't get it. Why does Lawrence have to leave? He had his own little stuff going on Insecure, and I know Insecure is gonna air on August 3rd. I don't know.
Yeah,
put me on your
sometime in
payroll.
August.
But I feel like Lawrence should have been there. What are your thoughts?
Bye.
Oh.
Let me tell you something. I think Issa is trying to remain true to really what happens when you break up. When you break up, you don't keep on your payroll. He got to go. Now she went back. We saw in season 2 where Lawrence was You know, he got the award of the year from smashing the girl from the back and the art situation. All the guys on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram was like, yeah, Lawrence. But then we forgot about the emotional aspect that Issa went through when you're transitioning out of a relationship. You want to go back to it. You try to make it work. He doesn't want to make it work. So, you know, Lawrence seemed to be doing well towards the end of season 2. And Issa's life is falling completely apart.
Okay, but I guess this one's petty
I'm gonna miss
because
him though, actually. I miss his character.
He's a nice eye candy, but you know, I like him chocolate.
But so is Daniel.
Yes, he is.
That little chocolate thing there. You know, chocolate was never really my thing,
So-
but it has become my
and this
thing
is
in my older life.
This is the petty because
Okay.
Sharon is, I don't know, Dro.
Is it Dro?
I
Okay.
mean, he done got the girl pregnant in real life.
Oh yeah, he did.
So I was just trying to
He
see if they
did.
were gonna tie that in, but I guess they're
That
not.
would have been a nice tie-in.
By Tasha, by Lauren. I don't
But
even
on
know
the show, Dro is married to his girl. I mean, is he married? Yeah, they in an open relationship.
No, it's open for him.
And this is what season 3 is gonna bring out, because we don't know if Dro's woman knows about the fact that him and Molly are smashing on the low, because he made Molly feel like she's cool with it. And we saw at the end of the show that Molly went back to doing what Molly does. She had a relapse and, you know, whatever. But as far as Lawrence not being on the show, I think it's a good twist, because when you break up with somebody, you break completely up. I do think she would bring him back probably in later seasons, because I don't think their story is over.
I hope she do and stun on him real hard.
Yeah, I don't think the story is over, but for season 3, I mean, we're probably going to see Issa probably really coming to her own. You know, her and Daniel have this thing going on. She's going to be moving around and figuring out some other things for herself. You know how it goes? I mean, when you break up with somebody, you just be trying to be on some new, like out with the old, in with the new. Get off my payroll, get off my mental payroll with that.
Okay, well, Stevie. What you doing,
Soon
Stevie?
as I get home. Hey, was you making that song for him, Faith? I'll make it up to you. Was you making that song for Stevie on the Low when you was with Notorious B.I.G.? Girl, what's happening?
What's wrong? Did she ever have a problem with substance?
I don't really know. I've always been a Faith fan. Okay.
Yes. Until this,
is
this for ratings?
I don't think this was a good move.
Y'all got tattoos. 1 minute.
Girl, go back to our last episode and watch the part we talked about being in tune with your star player, because you're not in tune. Okay. Stevie like 100, then like in debt now. I think he owed the IRS some money. I mean, this is the thing. Did she do it because she lonely? Now Stevie is an attractive man. He is. I mean, but he's so full of shit.
Didn't he just have another baby?
I think so.
So, I mean,
they doing the most on the gram though.
Shout out to the friend zone. Shout out to Jocelyn.
Hey.
Talking about the grandmama is the baby. That used to be because Faith is the grandmama, and now she the baby.
Hey.
I don't really know.
That's a lot. I mean, you know what? That's a lot that you walking into, because Stevie J has so much unfinished business. He never closes a door in a relationship. He continuously sticks his penis in different everything, every which way. And I just really hope and pray. I'm not gonna hate on your love, because we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes with you and Stevie J. And we don't know that if Stevie J is this persona that he puts on for the camera. He may be his whole different person. He may just be doing that stuff for, you know, I'm the good guy for ratings or likes. But I really hope that you get what you deserve. I'm a true fan of yours. I think she's a dope queen. But even then, sometimes we just make bad decisions, you know? And I'm not saying it's bad or it's good, but girl, just make sure you in tune with your star player and hold on to your coin, girl. Hold on to your money. I hope y'all got a prenup. But y'all, they be on the ground doing the most. They got tattoos and stuff now. She got earrings and things with his name in it. I mean, y'all look like teenagers.
I kind of hope that it's real, because I'm not gonna do all this for no publicity.
Well, girl, people do all kind of things for relationships that are not real. All the time.
I mean, he did fake a whole marriage.
Girl, how many times we see girls on Facebook and social media posting they boo and bae, and he the one, and he this, and he my rider, and you know all this other stuff, ride or die, Bonnie and Clyde, and then 2 weeks later you have to erase all the pictures because you found out he riding you and somebody else. Talk facts.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just saying people do a whole lot more for less.
Girls done got every boyfriend they been with tatted on them.
That's the thing Jaquay won't do. You will never get a staple of your name on my body. Negative.
Yeah.
I don't love you enough. I love me enough for the both of us. Okay. Shout out. What's her name? Janae. That's the relationship I love. I love her and Big Sean.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Aries.
Are they both Aries or just
Big Sean is. Back to our petty conversation.
And the final Offset. Whoop 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 whoop. What's
Offset
he felt like he was left off? Bad bougie. Y'all just got a baby.
Oh, he know.
And now you it's 10 off.
Oh,
I
can't keep up with take off Chinese food. I don't know. I can't keep up with the names of these. I talk about this on every episode. I can't keep up with the names. They all look alike.
They don't.
Okay. That wasn't a nice thing for me to say, right? I just know the one that is on everybody's. Quavo. That's the one I know because me and him have the same name.
No, you don't.
Some of my homies call me Quavo.
Right. Okay. Y'all do.
We get off topic.
We are.
Focus. There's so much going on.
Oh my gosh. But yeah,
Shout
you
out to
just got a baby. How many more I'm sorry gifts you gonna give Cardi? And I love Cardi. I've been following her since she was stripping
like
them.
type of stuff. Remember he used to beat her ass and then give her a gift on the movie?
Hashtag silence.
We had to let it sit in.
But
oh gosh.
I mean, you gonna keep buying her I'm sorry gifts? Was
No.
the billion apology?
Cardi, you gonna keep taking I'm sorry gifts?
And like I said, I love Cardi.
Stop being a fool.
So just want to party with Cardi.
I love Cardi B too, but
Cardi.
they young. I mean, they young and young.
They did the baby for the culture.
What's the baby's name?
Culture Kiara Cephas. It's okay.
Well, you can name your baby whatever you want to when you got money.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to deal with the same things us regular folks have to deal with actually getting a job.
Well, I'm not going to have to deal with that either. So I'm going to change my name to, I don't know, Watermelon. I don't know. I can't.
I mean, and then you got, you getting caught with the work. Getting pulled over for the work.
Y'all don't have security?
Listen, Offset. Is that his name? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay, Offset. Listen, brother. You have enough money where there should be somebody bringing the work to you at all times. You should never, ever, ever be carrying any type of weight on you, any type of anything that can get you in trouble or mess up your career.
You'd have thought he learned from T.I. Don't they live in the same neighborhood?
Yes.
I'm just lying.
You got a whole camp of people who you give. I thought that's what celebrities do.
But what I do like about Migos that they stick up for each other. But
They
where
do.
were the other ones?
Yeah.
Where were the other ones? You sitting here riding around, going to jail, and then go buy her some Cartier. I mean, I wish I had them problems, but I really don't.
That's rich people
Okay.
problems.
That's
he
crazy.
Gonna get off.
It's crazy.
He's gonna get out. But move smart. You got people in your camp who should be taking care of the work for you. You shouldn't be riding around with the work in your car.
Who approved of that message? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Where was you going? Just
still trying to be
it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
Still trying to be in the hood.
I don't know.
You not in that lifestyle no more, brother. You a 6-figure kind of brother. You a young billionaire, young millionaire, whatever. You can't still kind of have that. You have to grow out of that mentality, But you know how they say you can take the hood, the person out the hood can't take the hood out the person. They still trying to pay homage to where they came from. Boy, you gonna end up in prison behind that. Better chill. That was all the pettiness for the day.
I guess so.
Well, listen. Y'all got any more stories and y'all follow up with us about Grandma Faith and Grandpa Stevie?
That takes me out
That takes me out. No problem. Cardi B, Lil Ike and Tina over there without the beatings. And who else we talk about? We talked about somebody else. And Lawrence, we'll see you season 4.
We're gonna see you at
Best Buy. We'll see you season 4, hopefully, whatever Issa say. But when you a boss, you nice for what? To these, hey, she was bossing in that video. So, now it's time. Please take your seat. please go to your beauty chair, the chair you use when it's time to get into these beauty shop talk conversations, because we're getting ready to snatch your mental edges with a serious conversation. It's a conversation that we're going to unfold and we're going to unpack. And the topic of the day is who's tracking my own part 2. Get your mind right. Remaining mentally healthy. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to read a little statistic about what mental health is looking like for our generation, pretty much. I got this from, let me quote it right, www.adaa.org. It's Anxiety and Depression Association of America. We've seen people commit suicide behind depression and anxiety and just the stresses of life. I personally have a personal experience with a close friend of mine who committed suicide at the age of 14 from, I would assume, depression and whatever. And I've had my own battles with being in a depressive state in life. And we're going to get into all that today, but I want to read a couple of facts. The leading cause of disability in the U.S. from the age 15 to 43, this is anxiety and depression. It affects 16.1 million American adults, or about 6.7% of the U.S. population age 18 and older in a given year. Now do the math, in a given year, that's a whole lot, okay? Now, while major depressive disorder can develop at any age, the median age at onset is 32 years old, and the more prevalent is more prevalent in women than in men. So I just wanted to read that to kind of give you a focal point as to just kind of some things you may need to think about as far as this conversation that we're going to unfold about mental health and getting your mind right. So, my queen Kanisha, let's get into this.
Okay, so I wanted to talk today about my story. And I'm not saying that I've diagnosed or been diagnosed with depression, but I just, those stats, I can't, that resonates with me. And I didn't realize until, I guess, doing the work and not really knowing what work I was doing, that was the state that I was in. For me, depression looks like a lot of sadness and a lot of anger, and not really knowing how to voice it.
Yes.
Not having an outlet. For me, it was like no matter what I did in life, no matter how successful, it was never enough. I started overcompensating and underestimating, devaluing myself. I asked close friend, family member, you know, just what is depression? And I'm like, man, that's like putting the mirror up to my face. Like, you know, you start self-loathing, you're lashing out more, you're withdrawn, you feel isolated, self-destructive behavior. I felt ashamed a lot. So my story, as a child, you know, and I explained in the first episode, you know, my dad was kind of in and out. Like, I know my daddy, I can call him today, but he just made choices that were more reflective upon him. And it was like dangled in my face in a sense, like, okay, make sure those grades good, make sure, you know, what you doing with your life. And I'm like, I'm 5 or, you know, whatever school age years. So I always try to strive and get, you know, have the best GPA, have the best the grades, the best attitude or whatever. Like
overcompensate.
Like, daddy, look at me. Like, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, you know, do this for me. And
take your time. We're gonna work through this. This is a lot to unpack.
I feel like that's where the perfectionism as a child started. And then it wasn't just him, it was like, you know, family members, the comparison thing. And I don't think I can't speak for the races, but I feel like I can't speak for anybody but myself. It seemed like you always get such and such is doing this, why are you not doing it? That comparison thing. Recently, I would ask people, like, y'all have your favorite child? I don't get that, because you don't see how destructive that behavior is once they know that this is taking place.
Wow.
The effects of it, because they're not being themselves. They're trying to act and emulate the other child. They're not you're not nurturing them, you're not meeting them where they are. Because when that baby come, it's just you and them. And y'all got to figure that out. That's a whole different personality that you don't know as, you know, they're formulating in this life. So for me, if I receive criticism, I would just take it like, I would internalize it, I would harbor it. It still bothers me let me correct that. It did bother me until I started doing the work on myself. I was afraid to speak up a lot because, you know, my brother, he was probably in kindergarten, first grade when they tried to say that he had ADHD and he was on Ritalin. My dad was like, man, just give him, you know, a baby aspirin. He's thinking that it's calming him down, so let's just give him like a placebo in a sense.
Wow.
to see how it is, because my brother, I really feel like he is such a genius. He's so smart. He has a different way of learning, or, you know, he needs to find his own focus, and that's always been my take on it. We're like 4 years apart, so of course I'm protective of it, but I'm seeing like, dang, I can't slip up because I don't want to add that extra burden on my parents. Wow. He was going to a psychiatrist, you know, and I do feel that he did stop. I don't know if the Ritalin helped, but eventually, maybe middle school, high school, like they just cut it out altogether because we had so much other stuff going on in our lives. But I didn't want to, I felt like that caused me to mature faster than what I need to be. Like, in the sense, it kind of robbed me of my childhood of all that was going on. And I didn't want to add that extra pressure to my folks. Like, oh my gosh, I feel this kind of way based on what you're telling me. Because, you know, even now, like, if I was to say something's bothering me, or I'm experiencing something, I'm going through something, girl, just live a little longer. And I'm like, no, I just want to have somebody to talk to. And that's all I'm asking for, someone to talk to. What was explained, and I didn't really understand that, like, a lot of our parents or elders have dealt with or dealing with depression, and they just like sweep it under the rug and keep going. It's like this long, drawn out suffering that does not have to exist. I'm so loving that now I'm able to, you know, form my little tribe of people. And even I feel kind of guilty, like, if I wanted to talk about it, I don't want to overburden anyone. So I've always felt like that, like, no matter what, you know, wait, that's not what I was trying to say. I always felt like I don't want to say too much, I don't want to divulge too much because I'm going to hurt somebody, or I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And I really feel like,
you don't want to lay your problems on somebody else.
And then I have issues where, like, you finally divulge, you know, whatever truth, you know, mama always say, whatever going in my house, stay in my house. But then you say, like, hey, we're experiencing these troubles or whatever. And then people would use that against you.
Yes.
And that, like, my trust levels, it's not that I'm just very protective. That Cancerian shell, because people make jokes like, oh, Cancer, you just gonna cry? No, I'm gonna beat your ass. And anyway, I'm not gonna incriminate myself. But I wasn't supposed to laugh. But it's like, I've never understood how to compartmentalize words. I have compartmentalized it, but I don't know how to fully, like, deal with my problems. Like, I would Solange song "Cranes in the Sky," that was me. And I realized that, like, in my college years, like, oh my gosh, you can't do this. It's gonna kill you.
It's gonna fester.
And I don't want that. I want it to be bright, vibrant, or whatever. But I just feel like my whole life, and maybe this is caused, like, situational depression, when people tell you what path you're gonna go on. But you never really nurtured me in those steps, so I don't really know. I just feel like I have been moving to appease other people. And I wasn't happy with who I was. And it kept, like, it's like, damn, like, I had this one job. I think, you know, they had the scholarship stuff going on, and I was heading into TSU undergrad. A manager came up to me like, so what you going to college for? You can just be a manager here and, you know, make more money, you ain't gonna never be, you know, enough. You ain't gonna amount to anything. And from that, we had a rift, and I'm like, I can't. I'm giving him everything that he wanted.
Right.
And I can sit here and smile, or be like, you know, it's just words, but I didn't. That behavior has always followed me through my life, and it's like no matter what, I keep running into the same character. It's just a different face. These same situations, and that I don't know. So that goes into my point where, you know, how the outside world can affect how you feel on the inside.
It sure can.
Again, with the uncontrollable sadness or feeling hopeless, I don't know. I just, reflecting back, it just seems like I was just a sad child. I don't think I was, you know, the popular, the in crowd or whatever. I was trying to make it. I was trying to make sure. And I just feel like these problems shouldn't be children's problems. So it was a lot of things that were outside of my control that I was forced to have to deal with. And I, again, never wanted anybody to feel sorry for me. It's just like, you supposed to be focusing on algebra. You worried about the damn lights. Wow. Or your clothes, you know, things like that. So,
yes.
And with the overcompensation, like, I would make sure that whatever I had on, it looked decent. When I started working in high school, so before we had uniform, I would go broke behind trying to make sure that I looked the part, but I wasn't the part. And that,
all the music wasn't matching the inner beauty.
It wasn't.
Talking.
So, I feel like I've conquered that childhood pain. And then there was a situation or a conversation I was having. It was an ugly statement, but it was a matter of my mother's pro-choice or pro-life when it came to me. And that fucked me up. Because I'm like, why would you tell me this now? How true is it? Of course, you know, what if that was a conversation, or I don't know. I wasn't there. I was there, but I wasn't there. And that, I'm like, dang, so I done build up my confidence. I done build up my resilience from the situation, from situational things that were beyond my control. And now you telling me this, that like, damn, my life really didn't matter. And I'm like, so you taking me right back. I'm just spiraling back down to, why am I here? What is my purpose other than, let me make sure I'm living according to make everybody else happy, except for myself. And it wasn't until I had the same situation where somebody lied and said, you know, my baby was a mistake. And I'm like, okay, you can't get mad at your mama for something that somebody else said, because really and truly, now I had to learn is what other people think of me is none of my business.
None of your business.
The person, people who said it, I'm like, what point were you trying to get? I'm 20-something years old, 19, 20, or whatever. I'm here. What, you gonna take me to the clinic now? So that conquering childhood pain, I really, and please enough, I'm going off topic, but I just feel like that, I just felt sad, like my depressive state at times were like, what was my worth? Not knowing my value in life. What is it that I have? And even now, you know, I'm working on my relationship with God. I'm working on my spirituality, because I don't want to keep these generational patterns of pain, of hurt, to pass on to my children, because they see that. I told y'all we saw the blood moon. Madison telling these folks, oh yes, it's a harvest moon. Girl, where did you get this from? Because first of all, we're in the summertime. Second of all, your brain, like, I just want to keep I want to keep feeding that. I want her to know that she's so valuable. But she's not gonna know that if she see her mama sitting here second guessing herself. And I recently admitted that, like, I really feel that my child saved my life. When I was pregnant with her, my grandmother had got sick, and I was like my best friend. I talked to her about everything, and then she waited till I came into her room and passed away. I guess some people said that she just wanted to make sure that you knew that she was okay.
Right.
And I felt that when she passed, that side of my family had kind of went with her. Like, she was the glue that kept us together. And I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions, but I had a dream. She came and she was like, everything's gonna be okay. So I took that like, everything's gonna be okay. It's up to me. It's up to you. Need to change your outlook, because she would always say, "Ooh, I just want peace. I just want to be done with this side of the earth because I just want peace." And I'm like, I don't want to wait until I die
to have peace.
To have peace. I hate when people say, "Rest in peace." You dead. I mean, do everything that you have here, and that, like I said, that little girl saved my life, because like, I don't know who's talking to her about my granny, but she would say her by her name. She didn't know that woman. And I don't, that'll be another story for another time, but I'm just like, God, what are you showing me? What, I have to make sure that I'm maintaining my health. I have to make sure that I'm maintaining my mental. I can't, I feel that a lot of people, like, when we talk about our parents deal with depression, and then their depression is shown to us by beatings or angry all the time.
Talk
and
about
it's
that.
Unexplainable anger or frustration, but the children knew nothing about that. So my plight has been, how can I break that curse? Last December, and I love Hey Friend Hey, like I've been following her since I went natural.
Hey friend.
8 years ago. I feel that depression will, how it's manifested in my body. I started having like severe dental issues. My hair was falling out, and of course, after you have a baby, you go through I think it's like telophase, anaphase. I'm not a scientist, but I mean, y'all can do your Googles.
Scientific facts.
But your hair goes through different phases, but it was like coming out in clumps. And with the situational depression that we spoke about, there were things that I was going through personally, and I really didn't know how to get through it. I didn't know, like, I wasn't equipped with that, and I feel that problems that you don't address,
they come back.
Find a way to manifest itself.
Oh, they manifest itself somewhere.
And it for me, it was a test. Like, how are you gonna get out of that?
I don't want to interrupt you,
okay,
but you said something really important, and I feel like this is majority of African American communities' issue. You said that our parents deal with depression and trauma by beatings, by lashing out, by the way that they chastise us and wanting us to make sure that we don't go through what they went through. So their way of dealing with their traumatic experiences is what we have experienced in the Black culture, is getting your ass whooped a lot. Yeah. As we know now, with more education, we know that is a push out of depression and their way of dealing with trauma, because that's generation after generation after generation of, let's speak about, and I think you probably went on it, but we gonna pray about a thing, aspect of the church, and being torn between, do I go get help versus I know I have spirituality, I know I'm a praying person, I'm a praying woman, but why is it not getting better? So our family and our ancestors, our grandparents and parents were built in a generation of saying, well, pray about it, God's gonna see you through, God's gonna make a way somehow.
Can I be honest? I'm so sick of
Go
that.
ahead. I wanted you to get back to that because you pointed it out and then you went on because you were still unfolding your story. But that is a point that happens all the time in our community, where we are struggling between going to get help and struggling with spirituality and dealing with the demons that are being passed down from generation to generation. So unpack that.
With the praying or whatever, like I said, I didn't want to talk to my family members because I didn't want to add another burden to their plate. I feel like it was a joke that my brother was that they received help based on a referral from the school. Wow. And my mother's side, both sides are very spiritual, but it seemed like, oh, just pray about it, and you know, God, but why is God not doing anything about it? Why are we going through this? And I question a lot of things that we underwent, that we endured. Like, God, why are you allowing this to take place? I feel that I kind of, like, you know, you go to church and you see people being messy. You see the gossip. You see people. I ain't gonna tell nobody. It's the church. People might know my face.
Not standing up what the practice
exactly.
Yeah.
And I just that really messed me up because I'm trying to figure out. So where is God in all of this? If
Stop there. you going somewhere with this. People struggle with this in the church. Suicide and depression are really heavy in the African American church. Because people feel like they're going to go against God because they go seek help. Yeah. As a woman who, anybody who knows me personally knows that I love God with all my inner being. I quote scriptures. I'm a praying woman. I do all of that. But there was a point in my life where I said to myself, I spoke about it on the daily lessons. If you don't go get help, you're going to spend your whole entire life being an emotional basket case and letting your emotions govern your decision making. Through that process, I was also in a depressive state, getting out of bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, and then life was just pounding me. It wasn't just personally, it was financially. It wasn't just, and I'm still working through that. And I felt like life was getting the best of me. And I told my mother this story. I said, I thought about taking my life. Everybody says, "Oh, Jaquay, you're so strong." You know, you're so strong. You're so tough.
You're so human.
You're so human.
You can be vulnerable. You can be emotional. You don't have to live in it. But I'm not gonna invalidate how you feel.
How you feel.
Because I feel like that's why I never spoke out about it. I'll tell people after the situation, because if someone said, "Man, I know you're going through it, but you always have a testimony. Like, it's gonna be fine."
Testimony.
I need to get this off of me.
Yes.
Because right now I really don't know
how to get through.
I didn't know how to get through.
It was nothing that and I'll say this in the sense of, you know, I didn't have like a knife or something up to my neck, but it crossed my mind like, well, if I take myself out, would I feel better? Now, me being the goofy person I am, I said, well, shit, I don't want to have to kill. I don't want to have to hurt myself to take myself out, and that's gonna piss my mama off because she gonna be at the funeral mad as hell because I didn't make the judgment call on my own self to take me out, and she gonna get behind the pulpit and say, I ain't got nothing nice to say because she should have did this, and she let my mother's y'all don't know she crazy. So I thought about that, but I'm thinking, as me being so strong, knowing God like I know God, we all have those moments where depression doesn't always have to be throughout your life. Like, Kanisha's not depressed anymore, but you have to be able to recognize that sometimes you go through depressive states. And I went through a really low point in my life where I questioned a lot of things. I questioned God, I questioned myself, I questioned my sanity on a lot of things. And there are so many more people out there strictly off the basis of not being overcomers like we were overcomers because of their tie to their religion or their tie to spirituality or their tie to, if I say something, I'm going to be judged. If I say something, people are going to look at me crazy. If I say something, people are going to be like, woo, 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 woo. Instead of just knowing that, no, I'm just crying out because I'm in a place. I'm not over here trying to take myself out, but I'm really needing someone to lay my burdens on, to talk to. So y'all keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we move through this.
You said, I don't know why I thought about this, but I feel that going to a therapist in the Black community is so taboo.
Oh, it's so taboo.
Girl, just go to church. And I don't think there's anything wrong with
they have church counseling.
Oh, I won't be going. Sorry. I feel like that would be the next step for me. Like, hey, not to say I'm crazy, not to say, oh, she don't know how to get through, because I had an instance where someone said, oh, you need to get thicker skin. Knew nothing about me. I was just reporting.
That's the stuff that make people kill themselves.
And I'm like, but based on what? Because in my mind, who's talking about me? I just came here. I don't know any, I'm just relaying information that I was told would have been pertinent to you.
Right.
Well, you need to get thicker skin. I heard about it. Well, what did you hear? Tell me. But again, that's none of my business. Your perception of me is none of my business.
Just realize, people, that the things that you say to people, and I want to unfold this. Let me open the door to this. I keep seeing what depression looks like. You know, if your friend is isolated, if this, you know, call the 1-800 depression hotline. That's cool.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you, when I was going through my depression, my friends would tell you they did not know that anything was, my mother didn't know. And me and my mother talk every day for hours. That's my best girlfriend. Sometimes people mask depression so well that you don't know that you talk to that person is the stage between life and death for them.
Yeah.
So be careful, because life and death really is in the power of the tongue. Some people are not ready to go speak to a therapist, are not ready to go do the work that we have done, are being so true to ourselves and saying, I have to figure out how to work through this. Some people are just stuck in that depressive state. And the conversation that you may have with them, the prayer that you may give them, whatever your words are, if they come to you saying, you know, I'm just having a hard time getting through life, may be the difference between them going on the next day or them coming home or leaving and you never seen them again because they decided that it was the last straw to take themselves out. So realize that depression, it doesn't have a face. When you see people on social media, there is 1,000 things happening behind a smile. A smile doesn't, a person going on a vacation, a person with a lot of money, a person living their best life. We can just talk about Michelle Williams. This is a person who's in a mega major artist group, can sing, a beautiful soul, love God like I love God. You know, when Jesus said yes, and going through and had to check herself in because whatever the pressures that she's dealing with is hard for her to handle. But that's the place that people need to be understand. When you can come out and say, I'm depressed, I'm going through it, that's where your strength lies.
Yeah.
Though the people that are not able to have this transparent discussion like we're having are the people who are suffering. Because when you can talk about it, you can live through it.
Yeah.
Child.
Because I'm sitting when you brought up talking about mental health, I'm like, girl, I'm not trying to tell my business. And I ain't gonna tell my business, but I appreciate having a sense of a village, a strong community behind you.
Yes.
I'm not saying, hey, at me to be my friend so I can, you know, I'm not here to unleash my burdens. And a lot of times, like, if I had talked to family members, it was after we were dealing through or going through whatever. But last year I got so tired of crying every day.
I think I spent all 2017 crying.
I got so tired of crying. I went to a spiritual retreat. I was talking about Hey Friend Hey. She had it with Jera and oh my God, I feel bad for not knowing, but it was a spiritual retreat.
She had it with some friends.
And it was so beautiful. I broke down in the breathing, the yoga exercise. We went into, it was a vibe. But what I do love, what I can appreciate was just like everybody to see all these faces, to see all these different people in their own journeys going through and overcoming and willing to be free, willing to be vulnerable enough. That was something I was taught you shouldn't do. Don't let people know, you know, and of course, I'm not going to walk out the door and just be a sobbing mess. Sometimes there was some instances where I just could not control myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, like, with the situational depression would kick in, like, you know, you go through something and you don't really know and it comes back.
Triggers.
But these are all training that we are to, you know, to get to the next level, to either help someone else, to help ourselves when something else comes, because life is cyclical. And, you know, we're gonna
Is it? I don't know if that was the word. I felt it in my heart. She said life is cyclical. Okay, yes it is, friend.
But I just wanted a way to overcome, you know, that, and I really didn't understand that it was depression until we were talking about this show. Like, I just thought I was going through the motions.
Boom.
I was sad.
Kanisha, you talk, you all, girl, you in the heavens right now. That's what I'm saying. I want to stop you when you own to something.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't even know that what they're experiencing is depression.
Yeah.
They just think that they're sad and whatever. It's hard to call it a name, because calling it a name says that I have a quote unquote I don't want to say handicap is the word, but
Yeah.
I'm not
like,
perfect.
I ain't trying to be on no Cymbalta. I don't need
You know
no
what I'm
medication. I just need somebody to talk to and not judge me or not laugh at me. I'm not trying to pay no. I couldn't pay no. Cry. I love crying.
I love crying too. I say let's cry all the time. It's good.
Be in the shower singing and crying. No, I'm just playing. I don't do that no more.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes people don't know that what they are experiencing is depression. And even sometimes when you feel like it might be depression, you're too afraid to admit, too prideful to say, I think I'm going through a depression or a depressive state, because you're too worried about what people gonna think about you. And like in my case, it was the fact that everybody around me comes to me. I'm the youngest out of my friend circle, but I am the strongest out of my friend circle, quote unquote. So in that sense, and I always have been in just the cycles of my friend circles. I've always been the one to go to for the wisdom. I always have things to say, you know, all of that. But the strongest people fight the hardest battles, because when we're going through things, it's like when you tell people, girl, listen, I'm having, like when I told my friends, look, y'all, I'm not doing well. I'm going through a battle. They looking at me like, what? The only person that got it was when I told you. Yeah. My other friends were like, well, what do you mean? I mean, I'm having a hard time. I think I'm going through depression, but I'm going to be okay. But, you know, me being distant or me needing to work through this. And see, I'm the only child.
I feel like you said, I don't have the words for it, but it's like, I'm okay. I don't want people to know that I need that much help. I don't need you. I don't need you to feel sorry for me. Yeah, yes. I just need you to know that. To be understanding. To be understanding. And sometimes when I call you, I just may need a sounding board. I don't need you to fix, like, me and my mom had to work through this. My mother is a fixer. That's Scorpio. And she want to fix the problem. She want to know what she can do. And she's very practical in nature. And I used to tell her, and I used to call her crying sometimes just because life was happening. And I used to tell her, Mother, I don't need you to fix this for me because you can't fix this. But what I just need you to do is just listen. Let me talk to you. Let this be a sounding board. And I had to be that way with my friends too, because I mean, it threw them for a loop that your girl wasn't doing well. You know, that the girl that's just so strong is so powerful and this, and I am that. And knowing that you are going through a depression does not take away your strength. It does not make you less of a strong person, or less wise, or less spiritual. It's just sometimes you go through heaviness in life, and it happens. And if you don't deal with it, it will show up in your relationships. That same depression, the same issues like Kanisha spoke about will continue to show them until you overcome them. So, do we need to talk about, we want to continue to unfold depression, or we want to talk about how we overcome, or what we've done? Well, that's what I was leading up to with the retreat. Like, I felt December 2017, I bought my ticket back in like March.
Shout out to friends.
So March up until December, I'm sitting there trying to Google, how do I get up out of here? And a lot of people didn't know what we were going through. Sometimes I would talk to family and it feel like same family members would just be laughing about the situation. Like, you just want to talk about me, but you ain't trying to help me through it. So, and even that, I just learned what I'm going to rely my strength on. But we had to go around the room at the retreat, and everybody was saying what they wanted to get from the event. And I was like, one of the last three, I said, how do you heal from brokenness? Because I just felt broken. Ooh. Even whatever events that unfolded last year, it was like, it wasn't exactly what I went through in my childhood, but it was the same. I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew before I wouldn't be able to survive what I went through in my childhood, and it took place again. And I didn't want to bring my kids in it because they don't know anything. People talk about babies or whatever, what babies need. They just need love, security, and protection, and I just felt that I could not give that to them.
Repeat that again. You knew you wouldn't what now? You said you knew you wouldn't be able to survive.
I knew I wouldn't be able to survive.
If you had to repeat your childhood again.
Yeah. So
I felt it in my heart. I'm sorry, I had a moment. I was like, whoa.
I mean, that's
all right.
Girl, I'm sitting here like, I have to live my life after this.
I'm trying to keep myself together over here while we are recording this episode. Carry on, sis.
But for real, like when you said mental health, I'm like, oh my gosh. But someone may need to hear this. Even the shout out to Snobler Fire when she messaged us and said, like, dang, these are things that we deal with that we need to hear about.
Yeah.
But people don't want to talk about it. Why do we have to feel so ashamed about our truths?
I am strong in my weaknesses.
Yes.
That I felt like, you know, when I first started therapy, my therapist said when I unfolded, because it wasn't just about my daddy issues, and it wasn't just about having broken relationships. It was just when she started talking to me about the little girl, and I spoke about that story, and I just was just sobbing. In all these years of my life, I just never knew where the hurt and the pain and the struggle and the fighting me and the quick temper that I used to have came from, and it all came from being broken. So it's like when somebody shocks you and say, you know, you've been broken 31 years of your life, and it's like a moment where you just sit in that, and I just started to sigh. And she told me that day, she said, Jaquay, now you are strong. Because you are strong. Because now this is your truth. And no, like Charlamagne the God says, nobody can hold your truth against you. Yeah. And now, and let me tell you, now that I've worked through that, I feel so much stronger. Yeah. Like I feel so much lighter. And I'm still going through that. Life ain't, life ain't no crystal stair right now. Your girl is still dealing with some things. But the way that I'm dealing with it,
the tools.
I have the necessary tools. And my spirituality has increased, and prayer has increased. And I know where my help comes from, and I know how to maneuver through when I feel myself being triggered by different things. And that is the beauty of recognizing I got depression, or I'm dealing with depression, or I'm dealing with a hard time, or calling, or like they say in the old school, calling a spade, right? We just here telling you our truth, and we just really want to make sure that whoever's watching this, that we can be the catalyst to you starting your own healing process. Because this is a lot for me and Kanisha to even talk about it. We're both very private people when it comes to certain areas of our life.
Okay.
So just know, we over here about to fall apart.
Okay.
Trying to tell you.
When I tell you I'm so proud, I didn't drop the thug tear yet.
Listen, because mine is sitting right here in the corner, because some of the things that you saying, I'm like, damn. That's so ghetto, but yeah. You want to speak about, I want to point a couple of things out.
Okay.
So I looked up, when I was doing my research about this, I wanted to make sure we came with some facts. And a couple of things that I learned, that it said that Instagram and social media is a consistent trigger that therapists see when people come in for evaluations for depression. Because trying to keep up with the imagery that you see people present on social media creates low self-esteem, creates a self-worthlessness of not feeling valued, and it also is a trigger for undealt with issues that you may have from like childhood or your past, when you constantly see people from your past, people you went to school with, or people that you know looking like their best life in it, as I call it, and you are not where you want to be mentally, emotionally, financially. And in social media is a constant, or the number one trigger right now regarding why depression, anxiety, and that aspect. Because what we need to understand, there are so many levels to mental health. I used to work in mental health. It's not just depression, anxiety, but depression is the catalyst to a lot of more severe mental health things that we see, and it's the catalyst to suicide and all those things that you hear about when depression has gone too far, and people just feel like there's no sense of hope and relief other than suicidal approach to things.
What's your take on, and I always laugh at my mama, I'm not putting her business out or anything, but it used to piss me off. Like I was not on Facebook for the longest, because all I see is you scrolling and then you get mad. Then you tell my girl, look at this, and then you get mad. Then you go like people's stuff, and then like, shit, that ain't the truth. And I'm like, well, why can't we just genuinely be happy for these people? I had to catch myself, like, it's so easy to be in that little rabbit hole or whatever, of just scrolling, looking at people you ain't got no business looking to. And for me, I mean, it is a highlight reel.
Yeah,
and I can be genuinely happy about your success or
Right.
admiring what you're doing,
Mhm.
but then I catch myself like, damn, if I just tap like the natural hair thing. I felt that back in undergrad years, I wanted to be a blogger, but I didn't know what it was, and I felt like the poster child for Urban Outfitters or whatever. Then I cut my hair off. My family talking about, oh, she going through something. No, I just felt I was doing what Kanisha wanted to do.
Yeah,
And it felt so, girl, ooh, I can't wait to be faded and X-ray.
Okay.
I'm just playing. Or thinking that somebody said that, oh, you trying to be gay, whatever. And I just feel like that was a negative connotation. Like, why does women with short hair equate to being a lesbian or whatever? Like, why can't that just be a freedom of expression? It's my hair, it's my head. I know I got a big head, but the girl had them curls for the boys.
I mean, and when I was doing this research, it also said we're too plugged in.
Yeah.
We don't take time to disconnect from social media. You know, it's become, I don't know if y'all watched this series on Netflix called Black Mirror, but it is really real in regards to how social media dictates every move that we make, and we don't even realize how connected we're in. So one of the things that they talk about combating depression are like disconnect from social media, unplug, do meditation. I think who was that was saying, there was an article, New York Times had a really good article about meditation and its profound effects on combating depression and anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, and how they're using it, like especially for the military and for veterans coming back. I know that when I worked in mental health, and for the sake of the company, I can't say the name because that's HIPAA situation, but they were starting to do meditative practices for veterans who had came back from war, who were having a hard time dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, like severe cases.
That's amazing.
And medication wasn't helping, and all the other holistic, all the other medical pharmaceutical approaches wasn't helping. But so they started doing meditation, and you saw a huge turnaround in them being able to function with post-traumatic stress disorder. So like meditation is like a really big thing, and I know I've started to meditate.
What I like about the meditation that you're able to sit and think. I feel that with any depressive state, you're just anxious about everything. Oh, I remember a conversation you had read me like, be anxious for nothing, because you sitting here trying to fix everything that's out of your control, as opposed to just what do I have control over? What can I sit and think, or what can I sit here and decompartmentalize? I'm gonna learn these words one day. Okay. But and sort out, unbox these things, unpack these things, and to be able to sit and just be calm.
You guys don't know, I don't want to interrupt Kanisha, but a lot of our beauty shop moments and conversations came from us getting together when we were trying to plan how to get this done, and actually having long conversations and crying about different shit that was happening in our lives. So like this whole platform really got produced from us being able to be and we didn't even, during that time, we wasn't even meeting up a lot. Like it was probably like once a month or something, but when we met up, we knew the tissues were coming. Like it would be a whole.
I got embarrassed. So you gonna cry? I mean,
it's so much. I mean, but we needed that. We needed that. But you know, I wanted to say this. I believe the reason why our parents and our grandparents were able to deal with depression because they had a community of people who were always in tune. I remember growing up on my grandma's block, and everybody on the street knew each other. The neighbors knew me, Miss Opal knew me, you know, all these people in the neighborhood knew me. Me and my cousin were outside playing. So you always were, even though you were disconnected, well, there was really no social media then, of course not, but you were so connected to each other. In our generation, we're not connected to each other. We don't communicate. Everything is technology based. Everybody's behind a computer screen constantly, and that creates isolation.
Or that fear of missing out.
Exactly. Think about how many, listen, I'd say this story. In my time working in mental health, we had a couple of parents whose children tried to commit suicide. And the parents, now this is crazy, the parents were saying, well, I live in the house and they seem fine to me.
But you're not even aware.
You're not aware because we're doing this all the time. We're living in the same house, people, but we're disconnected from each other. We're not really paying attention to each other. So I think another reason why, you know, depression was dealt with differently back then, because all we had was each other. You had to go to, you know, such and such house to get some sugar for your Kool-Aid or borrow some butter. You know, we were constantly having conversations. And think about it. When you got in trouble back in the day, everybody was involved in that conversation. You know what I mean? It was the teachers at the school. I'm telling you, this is when we had pagers. I got hit on the side when my mama hit the doors of Northeast County for Health Science Engineering, honey. They were like, Jaquay, your mama here. And she just be downstairs talking to Miss Cox, my principal, because they went to school together. Everybody knew who I was. Vickers was my name in the city, but everybody was very in tune. It was a village, so, you know, it took us by storm when a friend of mine committed suicide because, you know, but things happen. But I'm saying maybe we need to go to old school approach and start reconnecting with each other outside of social media.
Yeah, even in my household, let's create time where the phones are not around. Hello. Let's recreate, you know, sitting down at the table eating dinner together. Who made that a joke? Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Things black people don't do, but we don't.
But we don't do it. We don't
and
do
I mean, to be honest, to be transparent, I wanted to emulate the Cosby household as a child.
Everybody did.
And you know, I mean,
you can't take away from the household.
Yeah.
The person is a person, but the imagery we haven't seen imagery like that in a long time on TV.
And I wanted that. I want that sense of love and compassion. No matter what, we're still gonna be family.
Yes.
No matter what, I don't have conditions on my love for my family. But when it comes to with outside influences, I feel like sometimes you just gotta cut things off where it is. Like if it don't work, and
that's
sometimes we feel like family. Sometimes it could just be the only thing we have is relation blood, because I feel like my family is not gonna do me like that.
Speak now.
So I mean, I love you, but maybe I have to love you from a distance to protect my sanity, to protect my peace and my mental health, because I spent 18 years being an emotional punching bag, and I can't do that. I can't hold your grief and deal with my own.
Wow.
I can't allow you to try to live vicariously through you. I said Madison saved my life, and I would never say, oh, take this path, be a nurse, be this, it's gonna give you the dollars or whatever. Do what makes you happy at the end of the day. And I had to realize that at that retreat, I have to live for Kanisha, because ain't nobody else gonna live for you. When you die, whatever, that's it. What is my legacy? Chad, what is your legacy? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Amen.
I don't want to. I'm tired of repeating those cycles, and I want to heal. I want us to all heal, and by doing so, a friend, a mutual acquaintance recently wrote on a sticky note, "Be kind to yourself." Bible say love is patient, love is kind. I never was that to me.
Woo!
So I need to start.
Talk facts.
December 2017. That was a change.
When you good to you, everybody around you is forced to be good to you. And if they not, you know how to send them back. As I always say, give them back to the universe. You don't get no more of my summer.
Okay. Come on, Miss Jennifer Lewis.
Okay.
But I had to do that. I have to start thinking for me. And that was one of the things I was going to refer to, of how do you get up out of that state, because I don't see me taking no medication to try to cope, because I feel like there's so many side effects, and I work in the industry where you see the after effects, the ramifications of medication. What can I do? Going outside,
walking around like
that
a zombie
sun,
medication.
Okay, walking out outside, creating that joy. What does joy look like?
Grounding yourself with nature.
Yes.
That's another thing, honey. You know, if you know about grounding yourself, you know what we're talking about. Shout out to our crystal lovers out there. But grounding yourself, connecting back in with the universe.
Doing what we're when we were talking about the show, the tagline of where we do everything out of love. For me, I couldn't bake worth a damn I took culinary in high school, and I really wanted to be a chef and an interior designer. So if you need your house stage, call me, girl. But that was I started baking when I had my kids, and I'm like, what's the missing ingredient? Love.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that if I don't feel like doing it, you gonna taste it in that food. And
Right.
I feel like I need to do carry love,
I
self-love.
think that's the next episode. Self-love and healing. Where do you find your healing?
Don't quote us, but you know.
Yeah,
But that, I feel like those are tips that, you know, can really help get up out of that state, because, and realizing, you know, what labels are you answering to?
Mm-hmm.
Everything, you don't have, like someone said, I need thicker skin, and know nothing about me.
Yeah.
Family members talk about you, trash you, and then come right back around smiling in your face as if nothing happened, and expect you to go on because they got over it.
Right.
What labels am I answering to? What am I allowing in my bubble?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if I'm in a protected state, hey, sue me. I don't know.
Well, I wanted to kind of wrap this up, because I know we've been laying on this anxiety and depression, and we can go on about it. But here's a couple of things regarding depression and how to deal with it, or how to move through it, or how to help someone move through it. I think that's where I want us to take it. Just know that depression is difficult for anyone to come out and say.
Yeah.
Anxiety, depression, you know, whatever they're battling, their mental illness portion that they're battling, it's hard for people to say. You're not, you know, a therapist, so don't try to fix them. Another thing, you know, don't be an enabler. You know, a lot of times when people are going through a depression, you the opposite person becomes a protector for them. It's a lot of times that makes it worse, because no one, when they're going through depression, they already feel emotionally suffocated. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to work through it, you're trying to figure it out. No one wants to feel emotionally suffocated. You know, you have to balance out being supportive and allowing that person to work through it. Don't judge them for wanting to say, hey, I'm going through something. Because like I said, there's power in saying I'm going through something. You know, I'm going through depression. Know that I think, like I spoke about, the hardest thing for my mom is that you can't fix a person. The difference between life and death when you're dealing with a mental illness or being in a mental unhealthy state, that's what I want to say, is that you have to want to do the work to fix it. Nobody can fix you for you. Okay, you got to be, like I always say, be in tune with your star player. As you heard I said, I went and got help. Kanisha said, I had to figure out how to get through what I was getting through. So that's the whole thing, self-love, and knowing that I have to figure out how to work through this. Yes, people are the outside culprit as to why I got here, or situations that have happened, but ultimately it's my life. I have to live my life for me, and I have to make sure that, in her case, living for her babies and living for herself and making sure she takes care of herself, and for me, just making sure that moving forward in my life, that I don't continue the same bad habits, and want to be more healthier mentally and just all the way around. Speaking to someone about your depression, that's always a great thing. And like I said, mindfulness. Breathe is the the magazine, the article in the New York Times magazine is called Mindfulness. It was really, I read it, it was great. If you really are trying to understand like different ways to cope with depression, read that. Mindfulness and meditation and all that good stuff. So that's all I have to say. What you want to wrap it up talking about, you know, you got anything more to say about being mental healthy and getting your mind right?
I just think that, you know, achieving that mental health, the mental wellness is optimal. I don't know, find what works for you, what makes you happy at the end
It might take you a while.
It is.
It's not going to first,
What works
therapy
for
ain't for
her,
everybody.
What works for her may not work for me, or that may not be, and I'm not trying to smoke, do whatever to, you know, cope. I want my vice to be something that I can just get freely around me.
Don't do things
going
to
outside. And I was
drinking,
numb.
smoking, don't do that. It's going to make it worse.
No, and I wasn't doing that, but I was just numb to everything. Like, I just, I couldn't deal.
I know that feeling of being numb.
It feels so good to be able to, and I mean, I may get sad, but it's not where I was. And it wasn't just, it was like a couple years of building up, plus a childhood.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm only 28, so that's a lot of just
And getting better.
yeah. It's the beauty in getting better.
Hello,
the beauty
inner
in,
beauty.
the beauty in owning your truth.
The hardest part on making your inner beauty match your outer beauty is what I've realized about us doing these different shows is actually being transparent with yourself about what in you is not attractive, what in you is ugly, and bringing that to light so that you can kind of, you know what I'm saying, move through it.
Because can't nobody use that against you.
Can't nobody use the truth against you. Cranes in the sky. So I'll close out the episode because normally Kanisha tells you the contact information.
Oh!
But, and since she carried it, I'll do the work because she did a great job with this episode. We want to hear from you. That's what you say, Kanisha.
Give us your comments,
Hey.
questions, concerns. Email us at contact.beautyshoptalk@gmail.com.
That's right.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Beauty Shop Talk 2. All links are below in the description bar. Make sure that y'all are liking and subscribing to our Facebook page. All of them, okay? I'm going to support you. You support us too.
Okay, support these girls with $1 in a drink, honey. I was going to do a mirror check moment of the day, you know, but I feel like I want to hold off on this because I feel like Kanisha has done a great job with talking about being enough and working through that. In the next episode, probably, don't quote me on this, we might piggyback off of that. But where we left off, where we ended, I feel like that was a whole mirror check episode. Yeah. So today, the mirror check was getting your mind right. And you know, and acknowledging if you are having problems or you know you are having some struggles and knowing that you are an overcomer. You always see, you know, do not be a victim of your circumstance, be a victor of your circumstance. But, you know, just know that you have two beautiful queens sitting right here who have been in depression, who have moved through it, who are victors now, and who are sitting here telling our truth to you. And email us, write us, do all that stuff because we want to support you, pray for you, love on you through your journey. If this is where you are with it, or if you know somebody who's where you are with it, make them watch this episode because we know and we feel that. And especially being black in America, I talked about it earlier, post-traumatic stress disorder, 400 years plus, we got a lot going on the inside, so we got to take care of us. You know what I mean? So,
support your tribe, support your circle, your community, your village.
Know your tribe. That's another episode. So schedule yourself for another Beauty Shop Talk Show appointment, because we have unfolded you from the inner beauty. We are making that inner match our outer. We will see y'all next time on the Beauty Show Talk Show. Episode 4 is a wrap. We out.
Bye.
Something said lasts forever. One, you know the song we sing.
I know.
Two best friends.
Shout out to Manny.
Shout out to Manny. Manny, you did that. One day we're just gonna play the whole song on the episode so everybody can see, or everybody can hear.
Yeah.
You know that song. All right, we done.
Okay, bye.
We out.
One friend, two best friends, do say, loving it. Yeah. Romance, dancing, opposites attract another. One day